The Invisible Man is a 1933 science fiction horror film from Frankenstein director James Whale. It stars Claude Rains in the title role along with Gloria Stewart and William Harrigan. It is based off the H. G. Wells novel of the same name and was first purchased by Universal in 1931 as Frankenstein was being produced. Anyway, let's start the review. The plot of this film revolves around a mysterious man, played by Rains, covered in bandages and a pair of sunglasses, who comes to the small town in hopes of working on a secret project he has been working on. Trouble is, nobody knows the identity of this man. His name is Griffin, and keep trying to figure out what he's up to and just what he's up to and what he's doing in their town. Eventually, it's revealed that, as the title suggests, he is invisible. This all came to as a result of chemical testing, and while being unseen can have its benefits, he doesn't know how to change himself back and has since slowly given himself up to insanity. So, word gets out that an invisible man is loose, which causes great panic in the streets and stirs up a search party who will stop at nothing until the invisible man is found, dead or alive. But how do you capture something you can't see? The thing that's really great about this premise is how much sense it makes in terms of character development. Here we have the story of a man who discovers he can make himself invisible, an awesome scientific discovery, who slowly starts to go crazy because of it. It seems as though being unseen is really starting to take a toll on Griffin, since he tries everything he can to bring himself back, but finds himself unable to complete other kinds of work due to how little privacy he actually has. And even though it's explained that one of the chemicals in the serum he used makes him go mad, I think a lot of people, if not everyone, would go mad from having to be obscured by society for so long. But at the same time, as sympathetic as Griffin might be, he still is very sadistic in some of his acts. In fact, if you add in the train scene and how many people were on it, then this would probably have the highest kill count of any of the Universal monster films. The plot also seems to be saying something about power and how dangerous it can be if someone starts to get out of control with power, or if it falls into the wrong hands, since, as stated by Griffin, one could do things while being unseen that they otherwise wouldn't be able to and get away with it. I give premise an A+. Very smart themes. Next is acting. It was a mixed bag. Obviously, Claude Rains is phenomenal as Griffin, since he manages to portray a character you can sympathize with because of the situation he is in, but also fear due to what he is capable of. You can tell he had a lot of fun in this role, and as hammed up as his performance might be to some, he still manages to give a slight menacing side to his character, since he has a very dominating and demanding quality to his voice. When he talks, you can tell just from the tone that he means business and expects everyone to listen to him. Props to Julia Stewart as well for her portrayal as Flora. Her devotion and love for Griffin just felt so genuine that I found myself actually feeling sympathetic for her when she found out not only what's happened to him, but how far he is in both mentally and physically. It's pretty tragic, especially given that she'd been waiting for him to come back after missing him for so long. I will say though, as James Rolfe pointed out, Una O'Connor's performance got a little obnoxious sometimes. Every time something remotely dramatic would happen, she just started screaming as if she was being murdered. It's so outrageously over the top that I just can't not take any of it seriously, and just end up laughing my ass off at it. In fact, there's literally one scene where she lets out bloody screams of death and gets on top of a table. It's like she's had too much to drink and now she's about to get sturdy or some shit.
Other than that, I give acting a B. Finally, directing. James Whale does an amazing job with this film. Like with his prior film Frankenstein, this does not take long for it to reveal, and the way it's done is just amazing because its portrays said Invisible Man with such a surprisingly calm demeanor at first. It's almost like Whale is trying to catch you off guard for when he eventually snaps. The special effects are also fantastic for the time. There is one scene where, if it had come out today, I would have guessed they used CG, but obviously that wasn't around back then. Just the fact that they were able to create the same type of illusion that kind of software can bring without any kind of computer editing software being around, it's just fantastical on its own. Whale also does a good job at making these characters feel real since they manage to have some since they managed to have some surprisingly complex qualities to them. Even though the Invisible Man has been abusing his power, he still wishes to be normal again. And Julia, despite knowing what he is capable of and what he's done, still finds in herself to love him. I give directing an A. Overall, the Invisible Man is a very fun watch although is unintentionally hilarious at times, it has some of the not only most impressive special effects I've ever seen from that time, but manages to also have some very provocative themes about power and science overall. We've definitely come a long way with it, and I think if we aren't careful, we could end up discovering something that could mean the fate of everyone. Anyway, I give this movie an A. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and sub for more content.